So listen to what happened to me today. So I was walking down the quad going, in between my classes, and all of a sudden my phone starts ringing, and I look down, it's my mom calling. So I answer the phone, and all of a sudden she just starts screaming at me. I guess what happened is that my bank statement came in the mail, and it came to her house, and she opened it, and there's an overdraft on my account or something. I don't know, whatever. But she was just being so annoying. I can't stand my mom sometimes.
Katie, your mom is actually right. She has a good point. It's not good to be overdrawn. I bet your bank charges you a fee too, and those fees are usually expensive. I know my bank charges $25 at the minimum.
$25? Wow, I didn't realize it was that much. Oh well, whatever. I'll just ask my mom for more money next time I see her. And that's another thing she was yelling at me about. I guess she says that, she claimed she put $100 in my account last week, but there's no way that I spent that money already. I mean, I know I didn't spend that much money in a week.
Katie, you're crazy. How did you spend that much money in a week? And you didn't even know you had an overdraft?
Anne, really? Come on, you sound like my mom. I don't need my roommate to start nagging me too.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But I think I can help you. I think I know a way to get your mom off your back.
Really? Because that's what I need. That would be awesome. How can I do that?
Well, in my classes, I've been learning about budgeting, and I think that's something that you might need.
What's a budget?
Budget is simply a plan for spending your money. It helps you keep track of how much you spend, how much money you have, and what you're spending your money on.
That sounds terrible. I mean, I really don't have the time to be calculating numbers all day, not to mention, I hate math. It's really not one of my best subjects.
Well, a budget is not like that at all. I know it sounds intimidating, but it's fairly easy. And right now, while you're in college and your finances are fairly simple, it's the right time to start. You get to develop skills that you will need later in life when you have more to worry about, like car or mortgage payments.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. I guess that makes sense, but I'm still not really sold on this whole budget thing. I mean, how is this going to work for me? Both of us know that I'm not the most organized person, and I'm not very good at following a strict plan.
Well, you can find ways to make a budget work for you. The main thing that you need to remember is that it needs to be flexible. So as your situation changes, you need to be able to adjust it to your situation.
Okay, so I understand that. This is all great in theory, but how does this really apply to me? I mean, I don't even know where to get started. What do I do? How do I make a budget for myself?
Well, let's start with the 5 main steps. Step number 1 is know what's important to you. Step number 2 is set goals for yourselves. Step number 3 is know your income and expenses. Step number 4 is make a spending plan. And the last step, step number 5, is evaluate your plan.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm really confused. I'm not really sure what any of that means. Can you explain it to me?
Okay, let's start with step number 1. First, you have to know what's important to you. So you need to understand the concept of needs versus wants. Have you ever considered buying something, but then stop yourself and ask yourself, do I really need this?
Actually, now that you mention it, that happened to me yesterday. I was grocery shopping at Walmart and just kind of browsing around the store, and I noticed that Inception is out on DVD, and I know that I don't really need a DVD, but I loved the movie when I saw it in theaters, so I just bought it anyway.
See, you already know what needs and wants are. So you know that things that you need include food, water, shelter, and clothing. And stuff that you want include DVDs, designer purses, or eating out. You just have to decide what's important to you, and then from there you can start your budget.
So are you trying to tell me that I shouldn't have bought that DVD?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Everyone has different values, and your values determine how you spend your time and your money. For you, if the movie Inception was something you really wanted, then buy it. You should buy stuff that you want. You just need to make sure that you have enough money to buy stuff that you also need.
Okay, so that makes sense. What's next?
So step 2 is set goals for yourself.
Setting goals? Really? Do I actually have to do that? I mean, who really cares? Do people actually follow through with their goals anyway?
Yes, goals are actually really important. They help you direct where your money goes. It's a roadmap for you over time, and it helps you see how you're making progress on managing your money. So I learned in my classes that you need to write SMART goals because they're easy to refer to and they help you succeed.
A SMART goal? What is that?
SMART stands for specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and timed.
Okay, I kind of think I know what you're talking about. So when you say specific, you want something exact. So for example, one thing I plan on doing is going on a spring break trip. So that's a specific goal, right?
That's a good starting point, but I think we can add some more details to that goal. Where do you want to go over spring break?
Well, I was thinking maybe Panama City Beach in Florida because I heard it's crazy there and I think it would be really fun to go.
That's good. So going to Panama City Beach is a goal. I still think we can add a few more details to that to make it a SMART goal though. So let's see, the other two parts. Your goal needs to be measurable, so that means you need to be able to tell if you're making progress or not. And it also needs to be agreed upon. So you need to share your plan with someone that you share your money with or money decisions.
Okay, so I guess that'd be my mom, since she reads my bank statements and everything, but also my parents just kind of help support me through school. So you're talking about them, right?
Yes, actually, I was talking about your parents too. So your mom helps you pay for some of your expenses, so you should really consider sharing with her your budget and your plans and how you want to spend your money for your spring break.
Yeah, you're right. I'm really fortunate to have my parents help me out so much, and they've been great to me, and I just really need to appreciate them more and make sure that I include them in this budget that I'm going to make for myself.
Exactly. And now the last two parts of a SMART goal is that they should be realistic and timed. You want to dream big, but you don't want to set yourself up for failure. So you need to set a goal that you can actually achieve. And then after that, you need to set a target date. That way you have something to aim for.
Okay, so I think I see what you're saying. So my goal is to go to PCB for spring break. And I know that spring break is in March, so there's my time limit. And I'm thinking that I can plan a trip for about $500. So then I know that all I have to do is save $500 by March, and then I'll be laying on the beach.
That's good. So now that you estimated the cost and you have a target date, you can figure out how much money you need to save per week in order to go to Panama City Beach and be laying on that beach. So let's see, $500, and there's 6 weeks until spring break. So 500 divided by 6, that's about $84 a week.
$84 a week? Wow, $500 in that amount of time doesn't seem like that much, but when you break it down like that, it's quite a bit of money, and I don't know if I can do that. Maybe my goal isn't realistic. I don't know, what do you think about that?
Well, it depends on your income. You have a job on campus, don't you? And your mom helps you gives you money once in a while too.
Yeah, you're right, but if I'm making money, then how come I overdrafted on my account?
Well, let's figure that out. This is step number 3. Know your income and expenses. So let me ask you a question. How many times have you asked yourself, where did all my money go?
All the time. Clearly from this conversation and everything we've talked about today, I don't really know.
Let me ask you another question. Where did the last $20 that you got from the ATM went?
I think I bought lip gloss with it. Or wait. I might have spent that on the pizza I bought last night. Or maybe I spent it at the mall. I don't know.
See, it's not always easy to remember where your money goes, especially when you spend cash. But it's much easier for people to keep track of fixed expenses like bills, cell phones, rent, or utilities.
So what are you getting at?
So I'm going to explain to you how you can keep track of your income and your expenses.
This sounds like a really tedious task. I know I'm not going to like this one.
No, it really isn't. Much of the information that you're trying to get is already there. So let's start by figuring out your income. You have a job on campus. Where does your money come from? You can keep in mind that income doesn't also mean just wages. Anytime you get an expense paid, like your tuition, that's an income. So financial aid and scholarships also count as income.
Okay, I didn't think of it like that. Well, let me think about my income situation. My parents pay for school for me, so that pretty much covers my tuition and my room and board and all of that. So that counts as one source of income. And My parents also give me $100 a month, and they tell me that I can spend it on things like food and clothing, going out, pretty much anything that I want. And on top of all that, I do have that job on campus, and I earn about $100 a week there.
That's great. See, this isn't too hard. So now the question is, do you expect everything to remain constant? Are your parents going to keep giving you some money? And do you plan on quitting that job?
No, I don't. As far as I know, everything should remain pretty much the same.
Okay, good. Now let's figure out your expenses. Here is a tracking expense sheet.
Okay, so I see how this works. There's things like food, clothing, laundry, books. Okay, so this is where I kind of just record all my expenses, and it'll help me keep track of what categories I'm spending money on.
Exactly. And know where your money's going. Now,
okay, so what's next?
well, just so you know, you don't have to just follow this sheet. There's lots of ways to track your expenses, and you just need to figure out a way that works best for you. You can use your phone application or online sheets. So now we need to make a spending plan.
Another plan again.
No, we're almost done. Don't worry. A spending plan is still a budget, but it helps you compare your planned income and expenses with your actual income and expenses.
Okay.
So your planned income right now, from what you told me, is $200. $100 from your parents and $100 from your job. So now, if you're sick and you need to skip a couple of days from work.
Okay, then my paycheck will be smaller because I've worked fewer hours. I get it. Okay, and so I'm assuming the same thing goes with expenses, right? So I might plan on only going out one day a week, but there's going to be some weeks where I'm going to spend more money because I might be going out for a friend's birthday or some other kind of occasion.
Exactly. Expectations are not likely to be met every single month. So that's why you need to remain flexible with your budget.
Okay, so this whole tracking income and expenses thing isn't really as bad as I thought it is. So what's next?
So now that you have a budget, we can talk about savings.
Savings? Didn't we already go over that? I mean, I thought the plan was for me to save money for my spring break trip.
That's true. But saving is also important even when you don't plan on doing anything. It allows you to take advantage of opportunities like going to concerts, weekend trips with friends, or other on-campus activities.
You know, you're right. Now that I think about it, Danny and a group of my friends went on a trip to Chicago one weekend last semester, but I couldn't go because I didn't have enough money, and it would have been really nice to have had a little bit saved away so that I could have gone with them. It sounded like a great time.
Yes, and savings also helps you with emergencies and unexpected expenses. Like if your phone falls and breaks, you need to replace it. Or if it's a friend's birthday and you need to get a gift for them. So it helps you avoid also accumulating debt, especially on credit cards. You don't want to pay that minimum payment.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. That stuff scares me. But okay, so I get your point that savings is important, but where am I going to get the money to save?
Well, you'd be surprised how much small changes can add up.
Yeah, right. Give me an example.
I'm not lying. Like, not 3 late night meals a week can save you over $770 per year.
$770? Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep. And that cup of caramel macchiato that you drink every single morning when you go to class can save you over $1,200 a year.
$1,200? Wow. So even if I just cut my consumption in half, I can save myself $600. And that would be enough to afford my spring break trip plus more.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's next?
Well, now you need to evaluate your plan, which is step number 5.
Evaluate? What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, that means how well did you stick to your spending plan? What problems did you encounter, and what changes do you think that you need to make?
Okay, so flexibility is pretty important, I guess. And so once I kind of get an idea of my spending habits and a better idea of my income sources, I can change my budget to adjust to those things.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, I like this. I'm starting to get the hang of it. So keep going. Tell me more.
What do you mean keep going? That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that was the last step. Evaluate your plan.
Okay, well that's pretty easy. So let me see if I remember these 5 steps. So the first one is to know what's important to me. and you mentioned the whole idea of understanding needs versus wants. And so I think I understand that. That was the whole idea of me buying the Inception on DVD. And I know that I don't really need that DVD, which is fine, but I need to understand that I have to pay for things that I need before I pay for things that I want. And so as long as I plan that accordingly, I can still spend on those fun things. And then after that, you went and spoke on step number 2, which is creating goals for yourself. And it's important to keep in mind that you should have a SMART goal, which stands for specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and timed. So my SMART goal is to save money for spring break. And you really helped me work out through all those steps and understand that I need to save exactly $84 a week for spring break in order to be there. And then you helped me learn how to track my income and expenses. And we know that all my different sources of income are things such as the money I get from my parents, when they pay for school, the actual money that they deposit in my account, and then the money that I earn from my job each week too. And you handed me this awesome tracking expenses sheet, which I think is actually going to help me a lot. And I think that if I start tracking my expenses over a couple weeks, I can kind of see where I'm spending most of my money. And if I'm spending too much money in one category, I'll kind of stop and take a look at that and think if I might want to change my behavior a little bit. Yes. And then I know step number 4 was something about my expectations versus what actually happens.
Yes, that's making a spending plan and comparing your actual versus your planned.
Right. Okay, and that just kind of goes along with keeping track of my income and expenses and just, realizing where I'm spending money and planning, but making sure to keep that plan flexible.
Exactly.
And then finally, step number 5 was to evaluate my plan. And I know, like I said, it needs to be flexible, and I can evaluate how it's working, and if for some reason my situation changes and I quit my job or something like that happens, I'll evaluate my plan and kind of make something new that fits with my new situation.
Good job, you got it. Those were the 5 steps. So now you don't have to worry about your mom nagging at you anymore.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's a lot easier than when you don't know anything about it.
My name is Katie Laginski.
And I'm Angelo.
And we are part of the Financial Wellness Program with University of Illinois Extension.
We're peer educators, and we provide one-on-one assistance to students concerning money issues.
And so if you have any questions, you can set up an appointment and come visit us for some assistance. Our office is located in the lower level of the ARC. We also offer presentations that we can give to different organizations on campus. We offer a variety of topics, things like budgeting, managing your credit reports and credit scores, things along those lines. So you can sign up for one of those presentations.
And we can refer you if you have any other questions that we cannot answer concerning your budget or money in general.
Thank you.
Thank you.